Hey Sarah, so I really enjoyed watching your video and learning a little bit more about your research proposal. What I thought was very interesting about it was kind of like the gap that you were able to identify in the research. So there's a lot of research, I think, on how homelessness affects the average adolescent, the average adult, but there's not really a whole lot out there from what I looked at after I watched your video on infants. So I thought it was a very cool way to kind of segue into that topic. Um, so I noticed that you did the 3 month interval period. So you collected data at 2 months, 6 months, and 12 months. And I thought that that was really neat because at that time, or during those phases, I guess you could say, the infants obviously are developing and transitioning in terms of like their emotional development, their behavioral development. So I feel like those were good time periods to kind of collect that data. And I also thought it was interesting that you did retrospective data collection. So I actually had to look it up to get a better definition of it, but it actually was kind of self-explanatory, I guess. But what I read from a source was that retrospective data collection means that the data was essentially collected after the fact. And I found that on the article is called Prospective versus Retrospective Cohort Studies, and it was written in 2016 by Dr. Wayne Lamort. And I thought it just kind of gave a good summary of that specific type of data collection. One thing that I also felt was interesting was I also did the retest method for mine, and I felt that it did provide good validity and good, internal and external validity. And one thing I liked about it was the retest part kind of added that extra like reassurance, I guess, that the data is valid. And so one quote that popped into my head, something I've thought of before, I did have to look it up to get the actual quote, but it's Colossians 3:12, and it says, "Put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience." And that came into my head because it's very clear based on your research proposal that you have a kind and compassionate heart and you're interested in understanding how negative events impact infants. So thank you so much.